Today we'll talk about the Bushmills Black Bush Sherry Cask Reserve. Is the Jameson Black Barrel Sherry Cask as well? Sort of. We can get it out for that argument's sake. The Black Barrel's weird. So we'll talk about this one just for a minute. I'll explain why it's weird. So this again, Bushmills Black Bush. From Proximo Spirits at the Bushmills Distillery. This is blended Irish whiskey. 40% ABV, 80 proof, chill filtered, yep, color added, yep, triple distilled. This is 80% malt and 20% grain. Those are pretty reasonable numbers. And this is 8 to 10 years aged in ex-bourbon and ex-Oloroso sherry. Also not terribly bad numbers. What's the problem? Well, there's grain whiskey in here. That's kind of the problem. And we don't really know how fresh those barrels are. But, you know, for this price, 8-year-old mostly malt whiskey, not bad. Well, what else do we have here? We also got this. The Sexton. How's the Sexton different? These are around the same price. What's the deal with the Sexton? And of course, we've already talked about and reviewed the Sexton, so we kind of know how we feel about it a little bit. But again, the Sexton, also Proximo Spirits product, comes from the Bushmills Distillery. It's poo-poo. But this is single malt Irish whiskey. So this one has 20% grain whiskey in it. This one is all malt. Okay, that's the first one. Both 40% alcohol. Both 80 proof. Both chill filtered. Both color added. Both triple distilled. This one is exclusively aged in ex-Oloroso sherry. But it's only 4 years old, roughly. Give or take. So this one is all malt, just Oloroso sherry butts. Only 4 years old, pretty young. This one's got ex-bourbon and 20% grain whiskey. But it's aged 8 to 10 years. Older stock. Much older stock. And we also want to add the Jameson Black Bush to this sort of equation. Jameson Black Bush is a little bit more expensive. Not Jameson Black Bush. Jameson Black Barrel. Jameson's Black Bush. So in my market, these are around $40. These two. This one is like almost $60. So it's 50% more expensive realistically. So what's the deal with the Black Barrel? The Black Barrel is not from the Bushmills Distillery. It's from the Middleton Distillery. It's a Jameson product. Of course, it is blended Irish whiskey similar to the Bushmills. It is not single malt whiskey like the Sexton. But it is, of course, also 40% alcohol, 80 proof, chill filtered, color added, and triple distilled. But what's with the grains in this one? So this one's got some grains that are 4 to 6 years in heavily recharred ex-bourbon barrels. Okay. So the grain portion is younger in heavily recharred ex-bourbon. And the other portion is single pot still whiskey aged between 12 and 16 years, old pot still, that was aged exclusively in ex-sherry. So we don't know the distribution of the mash bill in this one. It's probably got not that much pot still ex-sherry. So old pot still with ex-sherry with young ex-bourbon grain, young single malt ex-sherry exclusive, 20% grain, 80% malt, 8 to 10 years medium age, we'll say. But it's a mix of ex-bourbon and ex-sherry. So these are all like sort of completely different when it comes to how they're made. Despite the fact that they're kind of similar products, where they're kind of like sherried Irish whiskeys that are like on the value spectrum. Black Barrel is named for the rechar. Yes, exactly. The heavily recharred ex-bourbon barrels that the grain portion of this gets aged in. Now, it's kind of interesting because when I was reading about the Black Barrel, one of the things that I kind of read about grain whiskey is grain whiskey kind of like actually doesn't do that well when it's really old. Like, it's almost like, and this is why they chose this particular age for the grain whiskeys in the Jameson Black Barrel, is I can't remember if it's what the distillery said or what another guy on the internet said. And I don't know the truth of this, but just understand this is what I read at some point, and I don't know how true it is. I'm not going to parade it like it's the truth, but basically they're like, grain whiskey actually kind of peaks at like 6 years old. Like once it gets older than that, it doesn't really like mature as well as malt whiskeys. That's why the grain whiskeys in the Black Barrel are younger. That's what I read. I don't know if that's true. There's plenty of blended Scotch whiskeys that have old age statements. But maybe there's a reason we don't talk about those very much. Anyway, let me get another Glen, and maybe we'll three-way. But first of all, we'll just talk about the Bushmills Black Bush, because that's the one we haven't had and haven't rated. These other two bottles we have rated. Of course, we know that the Sexton is still my reigning lowest score I've ever given. Preamble. And I think this got like a high 40s. I think it got 46. Okay, so 46. And this one was a 38 for me. So not a huge competition for this one. We'll see how we feel about this one. Again, it's about 2/3 the price of the Black Barrel. Same price as the Sexton. Mostly malt. It's got grain in there. Good age statement for the price, really, for a blended. Let's see. Let's see what we can do with a budget Bushmills. Although I will say that lots of people that I talk to when it comes to Irish whiskey, they say, Black Bush, this is a value pick. You should get this. But I've also heard a lot of people say, Jameson Black Barrel, this is a value pick. So I don't know. I guess for like 40s, a 46 score, like less than $60 is not that bad of a price. But there's bourbons that are less than $60 that I've scored over 50. I don't know. Bourbon's hard to match in that way, though, a little bit. All right. Let's pour some of this. But yeah, at some point, I want to do like a bunch of budgets at one time. I think we could knock a bunch of them out. Like one of my plans was to like buy the bottom shelf of every category, like maybe like 5 or 6 of the bottom shelfers of every category. That would be like not very expensive, and do like a 5-way blind and see how I felt about them. I'd have to score them eventually, though. It would just make sense once you buy the bottle. I might do that eventually. I keep talking about doing it. It's just a matter of getting to do it. There's some good volatile aromas, honestly. I'm getting like some kind of like weird malty, sweet, volatile aroma out of this. From this distance. I mean, not bad. Let's give that a minute. Even though it's 40% alcohol, let's just give it a minute. Oh. First note comes to my head, blackberry. Like like grape juice. Yeah, like grape juice. That's a little weird. That's not dried fruits. Yeah. Like blackberries and or like Welch's grape juice. Maybe a little bit of an orchard fruit component. Not super grainy on the nose. That those notes jumped out right out of the glass at me right at first, and now they're kind of like tampering down a little bit. Yeah, those like it's like that blackberry and that grape juice. It hit me right at first, and it's like gone. It's like gone now. All of a sudden, it's like hard to get it. That's so weird. It's like, aha! Here's some flavor. Just kidding. Yeah, it's kind of still in there. It's like, it was like really strong at first. It's like, oh man, blackberries and grape juice. And I have to go hunting for it now. The aroma is not great. It really perked up right at first, but now it is low intensity. It's in there though. Nothing else to it though. Like, yeah, like kind of grape juice or blackberries, but like really nothing else. A bit of a Sharpie. Yeah, I gotta be honest. There's like a minor Sharpie. Definitely a permanent black marker. Yeah. Okay. Some interesting fruit notes and a bit of permanent black marker. And that's about it. All right. Bushmills Black Bush on the palate. Slaunch it. It's grainy. Despite it only being 20% grain, it's still grainy. Palate is like sweet and grainy and malty. And finish is like grainy with a bit of barrel. It drinks like the price. Who would have thought? Okay. Look, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, who makes these budget recommendations, but they always seem to, like, not impress, really. Okay, so Black Bush is over here. Sexton's in the middle. And on this side, we'll put the Black Barrel. It's weird, because, like, sometimes you get recommendations from people and you're like, this person has drunk more whiskey than me. But they'll be like, oh, yeah, this is a good budget pour. And I'll be like, what? There are good budget pours. Wild Turkey is a good budget pour. But actually, let's think for a minute. What if I was to say what's a good budget pour in Irish? What would it be? Bushmills. Bushmills, like single malt, like just straight Bushmills 10, Bushmills 12. Bushmills 10 is cheaper than Black Barrel, for reference. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. All right, so again, on your far right, Bushmills, Black Bush, and then in the middle is your Sexton, and for your far left is Black Barrel. We're gonna get the Sexton and the Black Bush in play here. Again, at the end of the day, it's a $40 bottle that I wouldn't be upset paying 60. Yeah. Oh, oof. Eagle Rare, I'm surprised. Well, I guess Eagle Rare, it's kind of thing is, it's like if you can get it, if you can get Eagle Rare. Like I can't get Eagle Rare, especially not for that price. I don't know if you guys can't hear that. Okay. It's my filter working okay, I think. I don't know if you can hear it when I'm talking, but there is a gremlin screaming in the hallway. If I don't talk, you can't hear it because it gets gated out. But if he's screaming while I'm talking, I think it gates me in and then you hear it in the background. Yeah, this is still like blackberry, grape, and Sharpie. And the Sexton is like... Is this right? I don't know if this is right. This really doesn't smell good. Let me try changing glasses. This Sexton straight up smells unappetizing right now. Like I almost don't want to drink it. I don't know if it's the glass though. Hold on. Nothing wrong with that glass. It like the aroma hits me in this way, this like weird spicy way that I'm like, that doesn't smell like doesn't smell right. Like the glass was tainted or something. It kind of smells like that inside the bottle too. I don't know. Did my sexton get worse? Did it somehow get worse? Okay, let's just coat this and give it a minute. I don't know what happened with that, but that didn't smell right. Okay, yeah. Black Barrel is like drier and like grainier. Like this one is more like fresh fruit on the nose, like fresh grape juice and blackberries. And the Jameson Black Barrel is more like dry and grainy. With like a whisper of sherry. I think that's how I felt about this. Like I can't remember what I wrote in the review, but I get the feeling that I didn't feel like there was enough sherry in this. Like, where the fuck was it kind of idea. But sherry is apparent on this, but almost in a weird way. Like, not like normal. What did I say about Black Barrel? Too grainy and lacks any presence from the sherry matured whiskey. That's what I wrote. And I barely detected dried fruit in it. Yeah, that would be consistent with my current experience with this glass. It's almost nice to like go back and see what you said before and be like, am I crazy? What did I say like 3 or 4 months ago about this bottle? Oh yeah, that's exactly what I said. Now what's going on with this sexton? Oh. How do I put this? It's got like this like savory part to it. Man, it's not. Is there something wrong with the cork? No, really not. It's in there. Huh. I can't, it's hard to explain. It's almost like, can you not, Adriana? Oh. It's almost like there's something like some savory herb in this. That's the best way I can put it. The more I'm nosing it, the more it kind of goes away, but and there's like a very low dried fruit thing. But it's like these ones are like sweet mostly. But like when I go from the sweet to this one, it's like this weird like savory herb comes out like thyme or something like that. Like coriander. You don't want to be up here right now. There's no room for you. Come back later. All right. Let's try this one again. Maybe a little bit of spice and chocolate on the finish of that. Growing on me a little bit. All right, what about this black barrel? Let's try this one. The black barrel is like grainier. No sherry to it, really. Maybe echoes. You get the bourbon, though. You get more like vanilla, slight sweetness with the graininess. Whereas the Bushmills feels like a little bit more like the sherry cask did something. Especially on the nose. I think there's a spicy, almost chocolate thing on the Bushmills finish. But the ballots are both like not particularly flavorful, smooth, slight sweetness, slight graininess. All right, let's try to stomach this thing. Oh, yeah. I don't know what it is. I've never smelled this on this Sexton before, only by comparison. I feel like I've done a comparison with this Sexton before. Like, I'm almost like going, like, is this... Did this go off? No. Like, the bottle doesn't really smell like it, and this is the second glass. Oh, there's like this weird savory thing. Right at first, and it goes away. It's like when you smell this one, and then you smell this one, and then you go here, it's like this weird savory note comes right out right at first. And then it goes away. Oh, it's unpleasant. Is that new? Maybe that's new, like new makey. Maybe that's youthfulness. I've never smelled that before. It's the youngest one here, though. Maybe that's a new make character. I have no idea. Palate's non-existent. Finish is the most sherry sweet, though. This is like, I think what we talked about when we rated this bottle too. The sherry shows up pretty good actually on the finish. I can't like complain about the like dried fruit spice, slight sweetness to the finish of it. That weird note is not in the palate. I don't know what that is. Like the Black Bush and the Black Barrel, the noses are not great, but when I nose those and then go to this one, the nose is actively like not good. Like it's like, oh, like actually like unpleasant. Which makes me worry a little bit about trying some of those cheaper ones. But it's like, maybe it's youth. Because it is way younger. Maybe there's a youthful note to this that is just actively like slightly savory herb unpleasant. But it's not on the palate. So I don't think there's anything off with it. But definitely by comparison, something is weird about this. If I had to rate these, I think based on what's in front of me, I would probably rate this one the highest still. I think the Bushmills Black Bush is probably the best one. The Jameson Black Barrel feels like it just doesn't have enough to it. And sadly, like, I feel like the Sexton probably has the most nice finish, actually. But in comparison, the nose is actually revolting. And the palate doesn't exist. Like, water has more flavor on the palate than this thing. And the nose is not good. Like, the finish is pretty good, but the palate is less flavorful than a well mineralized water, and the nose is like negative points right now. I don't know what's going on. It's bad. So, verdict. We want to give a verdict with this Blackbush in this trio comparison. Of the 3 bottles here, I personally prefer the Blackbush based off this comparison. It's got them. These are all. Let's break it down. Actually, not a bad aroma. Blackberries and grapes and grains. Right now, aroma is like negative points, like not good. Would not nose this. Mostly grainy, a little bit of like ex-bourbon vanilla kind of sweet thing going on. And the palate, very thin, mostly grainy and malty, slight sweet notes. What palate? Again, mostly grainy and like vanilla, ex-bourbon kind of sweet notes. More bourbon notes on this. Maybe palate in this is like a little better than this one, but this one is non-existent. On finish, spicier, slight chocolate, a little bit of oak, a little bit of graininess, not bad. Dried fruits and like dark toffee, sweet notes, maybe a spice. Maybe the best finish, frankly. This one, again, it's mostly like grainy, ex-bourbon kind of nose, vanilla, slight sweetness. Where's the sherry in this? I don't know. Barely detectable. Where's the sherry in this on the finish? Where's the sherry in this? You get a little bit on the finish and you get some on the nose. This has just too crappy of a palate and a nose for me. This one is just overall too mute. Don't know where the sherry is. And this one is like all around maybe a little bit better than everyone else. Not worlds of difference. But I think the Blackbush I would prefer over these other bottles in a vacuum. Not bad. Of a value pick, maybe one of the better value picks, but it's still not as good as a value bourbon, if we're being honest.